Welcome to a Skewed Chimp.
I had made a shop video quite some time ago, and I had planned to post it. I never really got around to it though, and never really had an opportunity to use that footage. Recently though, somebody had asked me what kinds of tools I had, and I personally always enjoy watching shop videos where people walk you around and show you what tools they have and where they are and why and how they got them. I like that. So I went ahead and dug up all of the old footage that I had from a long time ago, actually not that long ago, but a bit ago, and decided that I would share that with you. I'll also share an updated shop video with you sometime in the near future so that you can see where I'm at now. In the meantime, here's the old footage. Brace yourself. I don't know why it matters to me, but when I watch other people's videos, I'm always curious about their shop. How big is it? How is it laid out? What tools do they have available? Is it their own shop, a shared shop, a shop at their office? Does it have heat, air, plumbing, and enough electricity to run a full shop? Hopefully you're interested in that stuff too, because I'm about to share it with you. My shop is actually a detached two-car garage. It's attached to 3 other garages. I have the end unit, but it's attached to 3 other units. One of the issues this creates is that all 4 of these garages are attached to the same breaker, and it has a really low threshold for short circuits. In order to work on my projects, the overhead lights generally need to be on. This is the 2 60-watt bulbs plus the 4 fluorescent lights. I also need to be able to run the lathe itself at the same time. Because I am who I am, I also often need to run something to play music, charge my camera, which is my Android phone by the way. And there are times I need to run my shop vac for dust collection. Sometimes an additional set of lighting is also needed, in this case, halogens. If I'm working at night, the exterior lights are on. If someone wants in or out of their garage door, their overhead lights, and anything else that they've got plugged into their garage also sucks from this one breaker. In other words, I pop it a lot. I'd love to buy a solar panel for the roof and run my own battery and internal garage line, but that's an investment I can't make right now. It's on the list of improvements, though. The garage itself is roughly 18.5 feet wide and 20.5 feet long. It aligns almost perfectly with the cardinal compass points, and the door sits along the southern-facing wall, as depicted by the orange line at the bottom of this amazing picture I made in MS Paint. Publisher. Whatever. The things I'm about to show you may not be suitable for all audiences. They also might give you the impression I'm a total slob, or a hoarder, or something else. I promise that's not the case. If anything, I'm hyper-organized and I prefer a very clean, thought-out, minimalistic environment. It's just that there were several major events and changes in my life, again most of them were good, that dictated that we scramble to make logistics work, and we did so under a little bit of duress. So with that disclaimer out of the way. The western wall is covered with an old cabinet, piles of wood, which I actually tried to make benches out of to stack things on. This wall also features 3 slabs of butcher block countertop, which I'm hoping to use as the tabletop for my eventual mobile workbench. A few cans of collected exotic wood chips and dust, a bunch of empty coffee cans for storage, which I might need as I begin to clean up, and some plastic drawers to try to help organize. Next to that, we have a tool rack, which thankfully has some pretty solid casters on the bottom, and finally, a bunch of sticks. In this case, cherry wood that was sized reasonably well to be piled here so that I could try to get it out of the way. In totality, what we have is a triage of garage goods. I don't know how to use most of the tools. I don't think I'm going to keep most of this stuff. Plastic shelves, while cute, don't last long in garages. Most of the coffee cans are empty. It was just here because I hadn't had a chance to sort through it all, and so that once I got a chance, I would have the buckets and shelves and items I needed, at least temporarily, so that I could help make sense of the madness. The Orient, meaning literally the East in Old French, is our next stop. Starting in the southeast corner is this shelf that I made while I was taking some time off work a while back. Stacked up on it currently is about a half ton of honey locust. I figure this shelf can hold around 1,500 pounds. I think it's currently holding about 1,100-ish, give or take a couple hundred. I think I have about 2 more years before this thing shatters into toothpicks. In the center of the eastern wall, we have a bookshelf with a bunch of random tools on it. Another plastic set of shelves that I acquired from the dumpster for temporary storage until I can get everything in here cleaned up and laid out properly. Notice the pegboard behind the shelves, which I intend to use as soon as I have the space to put them up. Along the same wall at the north end of the garage is another shelf of wood. This shelf system has aspen, poplar, and cherry on it. I think it's holding about 600 pounds of wood, but I also use it to store metal tools on top, so hell if I know. If your senses haven't overloaded and you're not already trying to figure out where I live so you can organize an intervention, let's knock out our final compass point, the north wall. On this wall in the northwest corner is a workbench. This bench was here when the house came into my possession. The bench itself has 2 doors that open, but as you can probably tell, it's hard to open them because there's no room given how much crap there is in this shop. These doors are also at least 30 years old, and so is the bench, so it's warped, expanded, and it's contracted. The area I live in also has bentonite in the soil, so the floor is moved because the concrete wasn't laid correctly. The result is that trying to open these doors is literally a workout, but that's something I plan to fix in the near future too. On top of the bench is one of my childhood dressers, a miter saw, and my wet grinder. I know how to use the miter saw, so that's important. It's also a rarity for tools I own. I'm trying to get things organized so that I at least have this space available for me to work in. To the east of the workbench, along the northern wall, is the lathe. As I've said before, it's a Nova 1624-44 lathe, and I'm already pretty fond of it. The only thing I don't like about it currently is where it sits. It sits facing the north wall, which is a wall. So my background scenery is a wall. Meanwhile, people are passing behind me, and I have a much prettier view if I could turn it around to face south out my garage door. So this begs the question of why I don't do that. Behold the answer. That's right. The very center of the garage, as well as the racks and sides that I've already shown you, is completely covered in trees. Lots of trees. What kind of trees? Well, most of it's cherry wood. Specifically, 2 trees worth, each tree about 60 feet tall. There's also about 30 feet worth of honey locust tree, and about the same amount of poplar. I've got around 10 feet each of Russian olive, ash, pine, crabapple, peach, and aspen. Finally, I have 1 piece of mulberry. I've also managed to acquire a drill press that I don't know how to use, a router table I have no idea what to do with, and the router to go with it, which is buried under a bunch of stuff so I can't show it to you, and several other odds and ends that hopefully will serve some purpose or another before too long. So where does this leave me? Well, it leaves me pretty much right here, and yes, that's me, and no, I'm not crouching. I'm 5 feet 11. That sign is above my head. In other words, it leaves me with either a significant challenge or a severe mental illness. I realize it's been a while between videos, but it's my intention to prove I'm not a hoarder, at least not a hoarder of wood. I want to thank the many people who've helped me put all this together, who've already expressed their support and encouragement, who've taught me things, donated tools, lent me their knowledge and their patience. I encourage everyone else to stick around. Sooner or later, I'm definitely going to make something. I promise. I'm sure most of you know it takes a lot of work to make these videos, and I'm sure you know how to support them if you choose to. Whether you're rooting for me or just watching me out of morbid curiosity, your support for the channel helps motivate me to keep updating. Regardless of your reasons for being here, thank you for joining me. Sincerely, a Skewed Chimp.